different atmosphere, but we'll adapt just like the crowd is as well. We're underway. Bulldogs moving left to right on your TV screen. We'll control the ball with Josh Perkins running things. It'll be very interesting to see what Norvell does early on. Here's Tilley with the lob inside. This is where Gonzaga can take advantage. It's Williams, though, comes up short on the bunny. So it's the Fighting Hawks now settling in on offense, their first possession.
You can see a North Dakota team that will really space the floor, pick and rolls in a number of different ways. They really want to play fast. Haven't been able to do that this year because they've turned it over and haven't shot it great to start the year.
A little bit of nerves there, perhaps, for the junior out of Edmond, Oklahoma, Connor Avance, who lost the ball, went out of bounds, but lost last touch by Gonzaga along the end line. So here's Crandall to inbound. 8 on the shot clock. It's Crandall. Pulls up for 3, off the mark. And here's Perkins pushing the tempo. Trailer here for J3. Hand off to Nelson, the defensive standout who will be matching up with Crandall for much of this one. Tilley with the baseline drive and the floater to go.
Yeah, and he's got to look to do that. He's got that jump shot, but he's so quick for a guy his size. He has to force Jones to have to guard the bounce a bit. He can't settle for the jump shots. That's a good look.
A little push, and it's going to be called against Dale Jones as Perkins might have taken one across the jaw, maybe shades of MSG a couple years ago.
Let's hope not.
That's
Sam.
exactly right. For Josh's sake as well as this GU ball club. A little thin at the point guard position. It was a scare the other night at UW when Josh checked out for a short bit and he had his shoulder looked at.
You know, Steph Curry wears the mouth guard kind of as a auxiliary piece, kind of decoration. When Josh wears it, he looks like Muhammad Ali, ready to go 12 rounds. Nelson with the mid-range jumper, kept alive by Norvell, and it's Tilley the finish.
You know, so often the offensive rebound, those extra possessions, it's not the guy who scores it that creates that opportunity. It's the guy flying in, just getting a hand on the ball as Norvell comes up with another loose ball.
And he's going to try to finish himself. He's fouled in the lane. So Gonzaga trying to turn defense into offense, something that they're trying to get going here.
Well, you see here, Norvell on the baseline just gets his hand on the ball, Sam. Doesn't end up with the ball or the 2 points, but he creates the opportunity for Killian on the offensive glass. You don't get credit for that in the stat sheet, but the coaches do track that.
And Perkins with a good look. And Gonzaga out to a 6-0 lead. It was Walter on the foul, his first. Seals being defended here by Tilley, who was smothering him on the defensive end. Stewart now driving, gets some help defensively. Tilley got a hand on it. Here's Norvell. Norvell in transition, lost the ball, trying to feed it to Williams. Now Gonzaga backpedaling on defense. Gonzaga has scored the first 6 points of this contest. .12 on the shot clock. Little pull-up jumper, well off the mark for Marlon Stewart. That's not a good look.
Oh, difficult step back over the top of Killian Tilley with a great defense there.
Norvell with a little heat check there that's gone over the last couple of weeks. He was short on the three-point attempt. Now here's Seals on the other way, trying to break down Silas Melson. And another follow-away jumper. That one off the mark as well.
You've seen an active Norvell. We talked about it earlier on the last miss. He's averaged over 20 a game the last 4 games, but when he can do the other things, get extra possessions, get on the offensive and defensive glass, that's a good sign for Gonzaga because there was a lot of question marks if he could do those little things.
A long rebound by Tilley extended that possession as it dribbles out of bounds. We'll have our first substitutions now.
And a sloppy game to start here, Sam. Both teams with 3 turnovers apiece. And if you're Gonzaga, just look to make some simple plays, Dan. It looks like they're trying to thread the needle, make the spectacular play.
And there's the head coach, Brian Jones, 170 wins at the helm. This is his 12th season. Says he doesn't know Mark Few personally, but has admired him from afar. I don't know if maybe that admiration might be even strengthened after this contest, the way it's going early. And Seals on the drive and fouled, Gonzaga's first foul. It took 20 fouls in North Dakota's last contest before they finally got to go to the free throw line. 20 fouls called on the opponent before they finally picked up their first. I should say free throws, excuse me, as Norvell steps out of the ball game for the first time. And in comes Corey Kispert. Remember, Kispert started the season in that starting lineup, then had the ankle injury, and still about 70% according to Brian Michelson. There's Jones breaking the scoreless drought. Dale Jones coming off the bench, the Iowa graduate transfer. J3 on the other end, off the nice entry. Pass left hand, hook, in and out, no good. So the deficit cut in half thanks to the Dale Jones three. Totaled 33 points in his 2 years at Iowa. Scored 31 points in the span of 3 games when he came over to play for North Dakota in the Rainbow Classic. So you can see why it's been a great step for him.
See why he got the attention of Iowa as Jones just slips the ball screen and gets the easy dunk. But he's a kid who's got some good ball skills, Dan, can shoot out the three, doesn't shoot it at a high clip, but he's got the ability to stretch the floor and some size to compete around the rim.
Jones is accounted for all 5 points by North Dakota so far. The Fighting Hawks on a 5-0 run to close within 1.
Best when they're turning up the pressure and getting out in transition.
And limit Crandall and Stewart. I mean, take a look at Crandall, a guy who scored 41 points in the opener. Marlon Stewart, kind of a slow start to the season, held at 26 points in the first 3 games, but averaging just a tick under 16 over the last 7 games. So those are your keys to the game, brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. And here's Silas. Silas with a fearless drive for 2, and the Bulldogs are up by 3.
Attacks that poor closeout and then the ability to finish through contact. Avance was a little late.
Billy Brown is into the lineup, number 3, sophomore out of Spirit Lake, Iowa. And he has the ball here, defended by Kispert. Gonzaga back to the starting lineup that it had on opening night. Little runner in the lane, no good, loose ball. Last touch by North Dakota.
Well, take a look at Silas, doesn't settle for a long jump shot. That's just a strong take. Avance looks to be there, but not enough contact for the official. The no call, still a tough finish for Silas. And we talk about it fairly regularly, Dan, with both Silas and Josh. There's a little bit of balance to their game. They're both so effective from behind the three-point line. They need to balance things out a bit at times.
Looks like Jonathan Williams is going to have to sit out for a breather. He might have some blood or cut on him, so he's going to come out. And Jakob Larsson comes in for the first time. It's been hard to get him on the floor, but when he has been on the floor, he's been magnificent.
He's had some stretches in this early season where he's looked really good.
There's Jakob handing off to Silas Nelson between the legs, puts up a jumper, no good. Tilly with a follow, but that draws iron as well. Jones now in transition.
They have gotten away with the travel there on the catch and collect.
Seals trying to break down Larsson, who gets help from Tilly. Kick back out to the wing. That's Crandall, who was fouled on the shot. It's on Melson, his first.
That is a cardinal sin when you're closing out against a shooter, to foul the jump shooter behind the three-point line. Silas Melson, a rare mistake on the defensive end to put Crandall at the line for 3. A lot of times shooters, all they need is one look to go down, whether it's a free throw, whether it's an easy layup in transition. Crandall misses the first, it might get him going.
76% free throw shooter on the season, the junior out of Minneapolis. Our officials, Mark Cook, Justin Shamian, and Travis Schatzman. My goodness, 2 misses, and now the 3rd. Gonzaga, after that little spell, 3 of 5 and 1 of 6. A little streaky for a team that has been hovering around 50% shooting for much of the season. Number 2 in field goal shooting in the country. Here's Tilly. Killian with the right hand. Little floater, no good. Loose ball. Silas could not corral it. And it's gathered by the Fighting Hawks.
A good defensive possession for North Dakota. Switching.
Nice moves by Seals.
That's a big time post move from your off guard. Holy cow. Nice left-handed finish.
Seals Big Sky Conference Reserve of the Year last season. So leads the team in blocks with 6 on the season. Rui Hachimura getting ready to sub in for Gonzaga. Here's Larson defending. He picks up his first foul.
We'll see here, Seals just backs down Perkins, and that is tremendous footwork. Gets it up high off the glass. Larson can't affect it. And it's interesting, Dan, early on we've seen North Dakota, they often look to post up their backcourt with both Jones and Walter really being more face-up bigs. It's almost, they almost invert their offense. It forces Gonzaga's backcourt to have to defend a low block.
Well, Coach Brian Jones wants to keep it simple on the defensive end, and if you give a great effort, he's going to give you freedom on the offensive end.
Saw Hachimura bringing the ball up. And it's Larson right hand. Still going after like they're playing volleyball out there. Until finally it ends up in the hands of North Dakota. 8-8 ball game. And Larson gets the rebound. North Dakota unable to take its first lead right there. A little, wow, what a pass. A dive by Perkins, the no look, and Rui the finish.
And that's what I think Josh can do more of, is in transition, probe. Just try to get the defense off balance. That time, kept his dribble in the middle of the floor and was able to find Hachimura.
Well, I think the key there is he kept his dribble alive. He didn't pick up. He let the play develop a little bit longer.
Seals, a little leaner. That'll go. Boy, oh boy, back and forth we go.
Showed some versatility in the early going. Pull-up jumper there. He post up on the block a minute ago.
Saw Silas pick up the dribble there. Here's Josh Perkins. The skip pass into the corner. This is Kispert. Boy, is there a place on the floor this guy cannot knock down a shot.
Well, you like that look. But look at that jump shot. He caught it on balance, a bit of a tight window, still able to elevate on balance and knock down the three-point shot. It takes a while to come back from the high ankle sprain.
Perkins going after the ball, little no look. Seals knocks it down to the lane. And it's a one-point ball game, 13-12.
You know, Seals only 0 of 7 on the year from behind the arc. This is what he does. The short corner catches as Kispert misses the little bunny on the baseline. Seals is giving Gonzaga all kinds of fits here to start the game.
Avance out rebounding Larson there. There's a reverse lay-in that will go for Cortez Seals. North Dakota has taken its first lead of the contest.
Seals getting it done, pushing it in transition right there. Just poor communication, the ability to get back and create a wall and stop the ball handler.
Aggressive defense there. We're going to take the timeout, 14-13. North Dakota has a lead. Kispert shining early on, showing the range off a nice pass by Perkins. But the Bulldogs find themselves on upset alert. They're down by 1 early against North Dakota.
North Dakota not able to locate Hachimura, probing himself along that baseline. No look, finish for the dunk.
Folks, order Jimmy John's sandwich delivery today. Jimmy John's, where fresh and fast meat. As we welcome you back inside the kennel, our first look of the night at Jeremy Jones, who comes in the rotation for Gonzaga. Boy, Gonzaga has done a good job of limiting Crandall and Stewart, but it's been the complementary player, Seals in this case, as there's a left-hand hook by Williams.
Gonzaga had a plan coming out of that timeout. Wide pin down to Norvell and go straight to a drop to Williams on the block. Good execution, patience.
Interesting, no double from North Dakota. We saw that double come early here in the first half. Good recognition from Williams just to go to work.
And now almost a turnover. Crandall corrals it. Will bounce pass. Aaron out of bounds. Gonzaga basketball. We also have our first look at Garrett Franken, who comes into the contest. Brian Jones with North Dakota going up against Gonzaga. First time that we've seen that matchup since 1972. Both teams looking to make up for lost time. Here's Perkins. Lost the ball, loose ball. Out of bounds remains Gonzaga basketball. Well, with Perkins, are we going to see the Josh Perkins that we saw on opening night where he was hunting for a shot? It's been, Norvell has been, of course, very assertive offensively. He hasn't given that up to him in many ways, but where do we see Josh in the flow?
I think it's just a matter of picking and choosing your spots. I mean, there's going to be nights where Perkins gets a lot of looks. There's going to be other nights where teams focus in on him and try to take things away. And when that has happened, other guys have stepped up. We've talked about Norvell has been very good the last 4 games or so.
With 7 on the shot clock, Williams gets it out, poked loose. Perkins gathers it with 3 on the clock. Almost knocked it down, and Norvell the rebound. Hustle play leads to a Perkins 3, no good. Last touch by Norvell, out of bounds. But what a sequence.
Perkins put in a difficult position there with the shot clock winding down, having to shoot the 30-footer.
But there's no hesitation.
There can't be with the shot clock winding down there. On the second possession one, I really like that look there by Josh Perkins. When you're a knockdown shooter from the 3-point line and you've got a wide open look after an extra possession, you've got to let it go.
Yeah, the best time to get that look is typically off the offensive rebound. I mean, yeah, when you're shooting just under 52% from 3, I suspect you've got the green light.
Be hunting shots on every opportunity.
Almost had his 34th 3-point make of the season. He's in the top 25 in the country in 3-pointers made this season. Tilly defending and picks it up after the Jones turnover. Gonzaga trying to get this efficient offense on track right now. They missed 11 of their last 15 from the floor. Entry pass denied. They try to get it inside to Tilly. Jones tries to chase it down out of bounds.
It's just error after error on the offensive end by both teams on that little stretch.
Collectively now we're at 10 turnovers, a little over 10 minutes into the game, and those guys just trying to make spectacular plays. I mean, Josh, it's a good read, but it's such a tight window. Just move the ball along, let your offense do a little bit more work.
No good on the 3 by Norvell. Tilly could not get the rebound. 1-point ball game. GU up by 1, 15-14. Coming out that win at the University of Washington in Seattle. Where, remember, UW had come off that win in Kansas City in a quote-unquote neutral site against then #2 Kansas.
That UW win over Kansas was the biggest upset up till now for the college basketball season if you look at the analytics.
Jones picks up the foul, his first. And then maybe taking some of the luster off that win by UW was Arizona State, then going to Lawrence and beating Kansas a couple days later.
I've seen Bill Self's stated this is not, he wishes this team, this collection of players had some more toughness. When you look at what they have, they don't have great size. Typically, Kansas does. It's just not the same type of Kansas team that we've seen.
Oh, we're talking about upsets last week. How about just today alone in the top 25? Wichita State goes down.
Well, Oklahoma, I really like that young guard, Trae Young. He is absolutely fun to watch. But the one that's interesting or has a tie into this game is Florida.
They're just falling apart.
Slid this last 2 weeks or so. 3rd loss in the last 2 weeks. They looked top 5 material after beating Gonzaga at the PK 80.
J3 kicks out to Norvell with 8.5 minutes to play. Still a close contest, and now a charge is called against J3. Boy, Avance took a shot down low.
And that's a scouting charge. In other words, he took the scouting report. He understands on these types of catches, Jonathan prefers to attack quickly on the baseline. He anticipated it perfectly, paid for it.
Boy, he did.
But
I think he's still catching his wind on that one.
That's a heady play.
Well, folks, we've seen a total of 13 makes from the field so far and 11 turnovers. Seals pulls the trigger on that jumper over Jones.
Seals continues his impressive play. 10 points now on the night, 5 of 6 from the field. His mid-range game is nice, to say the least.
First signs of life from this Gonzaga crowd. And cannot prompt a 3 by Norvell. Well, Seals is trying to seal the deal here in Spokane, where Gonzaga has missed its last 5 from the floor. North Dakota leads by 3. And your Gonzaga Bullseye. All smiles in the stands. all smiles for North Dakota as well. This is supposed to be a rebuilding year. They lose 3 key players from a year ago that went to the NCAA tournament. Quentin Hooker, Corey Baldwin, Drick Bernstein. They look like the team that maybe we saw go to the tourney a year ago.
Oh, more importantly, they lost their heart and soul, their leadership in Quentin Hooker. Crandall has done an impressive job based upon what Brian Jones is asking him to do early in the season. But you're right, it's hard to replace guys.
Bulldogs trailing by 3. Here's Killian Tilly with the layup. Back to a 1-point contest.
Good find there by Norvell.
Yeah, it's a tight window. He delivered it right on the money.
Tilly now with 6 points in 10 minutes on the floor to go with 3 rebounds. I've not heard Crandall's name called a whole lot so far, but the idea for him is distribute early. That rims out no good.
Yeah.
Kispert with the rebound, but let the game come to him.
Well, Crandall's a guy who can score. Averages about 17 a game on the season. Had 41 in the season opener. 5 games of 20 or more. But you're right. He's asked to get guys involved early and then pick and choose his spots.
Wow.
Williams got the rebound and then is whistled for the travel as they were trying to yank the ball away from him.
Like a loose ball situation, neither guy seemed to have control. Tough whistle for GU. But you like the activity level both from Tilly and Williams here in the first half on the offensive glass.
Let's see what J3 does here off the steal, and he flushes it home.
No doubt about that one. Get your hand on the ball, create the turnover, push it, transition with the finish.
I think they just poked the angry bear. Jones for 3 on the other end. That's a nice answer for North Dakota.
And his second 3 of the night.
He is going to be a load in the Big Sky, the Iowa transfer. Nice step out game, can score it on the block a little bit.
Kispert works it over to Norvell. Norvell trying to draw it back out, lost it to Crandall. Crandall in transition. Can't get the finish on the lay-in.
We see how explosive he is, though, in transition.
Contested shot.
He's going to travel first, Sam.
Here's a look at Jonathan Williams. Hey, he earned it.
Best way to create easy offense is climb up defensively and create turnovers. Jonathan Williams doing just that. Steal, turning it into buckets.
One thing Brian Jones loves about this team from afar, looking at tape and watching Gonzaga, is the fact that these bigs can carry the basketball, that they can bring it up. So Jonathan Williams, when he creates a turnover, there's no doubt he can finish the play. He doesn't have to give it up.
Yeah, it's a big difference as opposed to last season's bigs for Gonzaga, where you had Shimon Karnowski, Zach Collins really protecting the lane or the rim. If they corral the rebound, they would need to look and find a guard to get the offense initiated. With both Tilly and Williams, they create the turnover, they get the rebound. They've got the ability to push themselves, which is a huge benefit to playing fast.
Well, your starting front court accounts for nearly a quarter of your assists as a team. I mean, that just shows you, and you know, Larson, he's had some great moments on the low block where he's been able to find open players. And then Rui, particularly against the zone, we've seen him have some success where he can find that open man when he gets the ability to operate in that high post. A very, very skilled front court for GU.
7 turnovers now for North Dakota, but 8 for Gonzaga, which has actually had 4 turnovers over its last 8 possessions. That is not a good rate.
No, but North Dakota really makes things difficult and uncomfortable for you. Force almost 15.5 turnovers a game on the year. Seals continues to operate in that mid-range. Does a really good job of keeping guys off balance and then creating space. The step back.
He's got 12 now, 6 of 7 is.
And now another turnover. 4-point lead, largest of the game for North Dakota. Jones a trailer 3. Off the mark, Norvell the rebound. Boy, oh boy.
This is where Gonzaga may miss Nigel Williams-Goss and his leadership, his ability to just, hey, pull the ball back out. Let's get in a good offensive set this time down the floor.
There's this crowd with signs of life as well. Now Tilly picks up the loose ball. Norvell for 3. Got it! 1-point game with 4:45 to play before halftime.
For North Dakota at halftime, you've got to be thrilled with what's taken place so far, but the offensive rebounds have killed you. 8 offensive rebounds for Gonzaga, and they've done an excellent job of taking advantage of those second chance opportunities.
Boy, Stewart going right at Killian. Until he's going to pick up the foul.
Well, here, 50-50 play. Tilly comes up with it. You've got 4 North Dakota players around 1 GU guy. He comes up with it. Again, the 3-point shot off the offensive rebound. Then we see the foul. That's a good call for the whistle. Got him up top just enough to send Stewart to the line.
Stewart rattles that one home. 72% free throw shooter on the season. Avance comes back in for North Dakota. Rui Hachimura and Jakob Larson come in for GU as Williams comes out for a breather.
Stewart is an interesting player from North Dakota. Started his career at Creighton, transferred to North Dakota. Coach Brian Jones has high hopes for him in his career.
Well, you said it early, Sam. He's been tremendous last 7 games, averaging about 16. He also does a nice job defensively, nearly 2 steals per game. So that's a pretty dynamic backcourt with Stewart and Crandall.
Yeah, 20 points against Nebraska. Well, Gonzaga, you've seen the size that GU has had against this team, but it's been the turnovers that have been the biggest problem. As now Tilly picks up yet another foul.
Crandall just climbing up in to Gonzaga's perimeter players, and then quick jump out on the switch with Tilly. Gets the steal, pushed in transition. Has the presence of mind to draw contact, get himself to the line.
That's a veteran move right there. Slow down just enough to let the defender catch up. Create that contact as
pushes
Crandall
him into
knocks
the
down
bonus.
the first free throw. Yeah,
and a
now
1-and-1.
1-and-1.
And don't think for a moment Crandall doesn't know that.
No, when you're a scorer, you know the second you're in the bonus, any chance you have to get fouled, you get free throw opportunities. He hasn't been able to knock him down this evening.
Tilly finds a seat on the bench with 2 fouls. J3 left open for 3. Larson the rebound and a putback. And that's the difference he brings off the bench.
Oh, Avance is trying to box him out. I mean, that's 6'5", 6'6" against nearly 7 foot. Probably could have gotten the whistle if you're North Dakota State there, or North Dakota rather, on the over the back. But you just see the disparity in size over the course of an entire game. It just starts to wear you down.
Yeah, Avance went up against a 7-footer when North Dakota took on Utah Valley, but with all due respect to Utah Valley, their 7-footer is not the Danish 6'11" guy we see here on the floor. 26-24, North Dakota has the lead, folks, on a day that we've already seen 4 top 25s go down.
I'm playing basketball, so I really it's my outlet. Well, my athletic outlet is
little
skating.
doubles skating, tandem
yeah,
skating.
I wouldn't know about that. My daughters are all 3 ice skaters, so I get to a lot of ice rinks around the Pacific Northwest, but I haven't been to that one yet.
Well, it's been the crowd favorite in Spokane.
Interesting look
here a couple weeks ago.
Interesting look here, Sam. First time Gonzaga's fallen back into a 2-3 zone. Let's see how North Dakota attacks it.
Well, Seals has been the go-to guy, and he had it. He couldn't get it away quick enough as he kicks it back out again. 3-point attempt, no good from Dale Jones.
You like the look if you're North Dakota. They do a nice job of handling that first look at the zone. Got the ball up at the high post with Seals, and
Larson loves this matchup. Left-hand hook, no good. Loose ball. And back to North Dakota.
Interesting stat so far tonight is Gonzaga hasn't attempted a single free throw. I mean, Gonzaga is known for punishing teams by getting the lead free throw line time and time and again, as Avance has a nice up and under finish.
Holding his shoulder as he runs back down the floor.
Well, it's been interesting. North Dakota, they've done an excellent job of defending. They've been physical on that end of the floor, but they've only committed 5 fouls. I mean, you get taught, that's what you want to do. Defend without fouling. They put on a clinic in that regard here in the first half.
Another turnover. Gonzaga's 11th of the first half.
I mean, they are obviously a smaller team in the front line, and Keenan Walter, the sophomore from Vancouver, has 3 of their 5 fouls, and he is their tallest player.
Seals on the drive, lost it. Perkins and Silas scrambling for the ball. Alternating possession goes to the Fighting Hawks. Tell you what, reminds me of the start Gonzaga had in the season opener, where turnovers were the problem.
Yeah, look, I mean, look, quite frankly, they've been lethargic here in the first half. It's understandable to some degree. You're coming off finals. You know, this is the first true game without a true student section, and they've been flat. And you know, tip your hat to North Dakota. They've come out ready to play.
Crandall with 3 on the shot clock. He took the bait from the crowd and got it to go.
That's showing you a little bit of his skill set right there.
Critical here. Critical 140 for North Dakota. Got a 6-point cushion. Can you maintain that lead, or at least keep it tied going into half? You don't want to give up a little spurt here.
Hachimura off the lob and in for 2.
Love it. Credit Jakob Larson there on that high-low.
For as young as he is, the fact he's essentially hadn't played in the year and a half before this season, given his injury, he has got a tremendous feel. And you see he's just scratching the surface, but he can really pass the ball.
Just over a minute to play in a 4-point ball game. 4 in favor of North Dakota. Seals another jumper. That one is good.
Great
The best
offense.
place to beat that zone is right in the high post. Seals has done a lot of his damage in that mid-range area that time. Finds it against the zone.
Well, all the work they did prior to that, just swinging the ball, forcing that GU zone to have to shift.
And now Williams gets that left-hand hook to go. This coming after the shot by Seals. He is now 7 of 8 as Seals for 14 points. Leads all scorers. Gonzaga without a single player in double figures so far. And now it's Stewart over 2. Rui and Larson.
Wow, tough finish. Takes it off the left. I mean, these guys know how to finish around the rim as Perkins gets the quick timeout here with a little less than 17 seconds here in the first half.
Hey guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, are we going to draw straws for who gets to conduct a halftime interview?
Well, I've got a few questions I want to ask. I don't know if the coaches want to answer them, but.
Well, you know, you have to think the first point of concern is going to be energy and playing a little bit harder here in the second 20 minutes.
Here's a look at the upcoming schedule here for Gonzaga. And take a look at IUPUI, which is just finished up its game against Washington State, a win for the Cougars. So IUPUI comes up, and then a road trip to San Diego against the Aztecs on December 21st, then away for the holidays, back home December 28th for their conference opener. Enjoy low fares to amazing places Alaska Airlines flies, connecting Spokane to over 100 destinations, including Costa Rica and New York City. Book now at alaskaair.com. Final 16 seconds for Gonzaga. Hasn't been sweet so far. The Bulldogs trailing by 6, largest deficit of the ball game for GU. Here's Melson, mid-range jumper, got it with 4 on the clock, and now stolen by Norvell, swatted away, and that'll do it. But finally, maybe that kickstart Gonzaga has been searching for all night long. They trail by 4 against the 4 and 6 Fighting Hawks of North.
Penetration on the defensive end and execute.
Well said.
Thank you.
And here we go for the second half. Silas Melson, Josh Perkins, Killian Tilley, Zach Norvell, Jonathan Williams, just as we started this ball game. But something needs to jumpstart this Gonzaga offense, and it's not going to be the crowd. If they're waiting for the crowd to turn things around, they might keep waiting. They've got to find this within themselves.
You got to find it within your own huddle, your own locker room. You got to manufacture that energy. To your point, Sam.
Jones for 3. He was wide open, knocks it down. Dale Jones.
Just the start that North Dakota
exactly.
wanted.
The first 4 minutes are critical for North Dakota, but I love the fact Seals gave up the wide open 3. He knows who he is offensively. Makes that extra pass. Jones is the 3-point shooter of the 2. Jones knocks down his 3rd.
Tilley, how did that not go in? Jones had that 3, but you mentioned Cortez passing up that 3-point opportunity where he's wide open. He's 0 for 7 on the year.
Yeah, but he doesn't take them unless he understands who he is. A mid-range guy. He's good off the bounce, can finish at the rim.
Largest lead of the contest turns into 9 now. 39-30 here in Spokane.
Oh, Stewart just snaking off that pick and roll, keeping Norvell on his back to the crafty finish. We're seeing an experienced North Dakota ball club that's not backing down from the challenge.
Third time we've seen the crowd rise to the occasion. Can Gonzaga follow suit? Williams is fouled.
Well, here Seals, wide open, gives it up, quick decision. Jones knocks it down. Not a high percentage guy, but tonight 3 of 6. And here's Stewart. This is just a crafty veteran pick and roll play. He sees there's no big helping out Norvell on the drive, and he's so crafty at finishing. He extends himself. He's undersized, but he really finishes at the highest point he can and gets the ball high off the glass.
These North Dakota guards, they're strong, they're physical on both ends, both offensively and defensively.
This is a North Dakota team that went to the tournament last year and lost 3 starters, but Stewart is a Division I kid, transferred from Creighton. Jones, Division I kid, transferred from Iowa. So they've got talent on this team, and obviously they've got a tremendous player at the point guard position in Crandall.
Williams going 1 for 2 from the line on that trip. Gonzaga's first visit to the charity stripe tonight. Did not go to the line a single time in the first half. With 5 on the shot clock, baseline jumper by Crandall is good. 10-point North Dakota lead.
As soon as Crandall saw Tilly on him, his eyes lit up. Put him on skates and pull up jump shot.
Norvell bounce pass, and Williams the flush.
And that's what I think Zach could do more of, is make the passing play coming out of pick and rolls. He's a great shooter, great scorer, but his vision and his ability to pass.
Stewart up top. Off the glass. Too easy.
Back-to-back pick and rolls.
That's a high-level finish right there.
Right-handed finish off the right leg, one-handed. Impressive.
Stewart picks up the foul.
Now Gonzaga's going to have a decision about how to guard that pick and roll. Are they going to hard hedge a little more, maybe trap, even switch? Because with this lineup with Williams and Tilly, they can switch.
And with Stewart, he's shooting sub 30% from 3, sub 27% from 3. You know, go under, you change it up, force him to knock down a jump shot.
Oh, a hard landing for Tilly. You could hear it from the top row here inside the kennel.
That was not a good-looking fall. He's slow to even roll over. Got himself airborne. Avance doing a good job stepping in front, taking that charge. Hopefully Tilly's all right, because that was a nasty fall.
Another look.
This is good play. Avance is there in time outside that half circle. There's no way for Tilly to brace his fall. Lands right on his low back.
But that's the evolution and growth in his game, that at times you see so many positives, and then at times there's some head scratchers.
Yep.
He jumped, then turned sideways in the air trying to create contact. He had a nice little 8-foot push floater, which is in his repertoire.
We'll talk about adding insult to injury after he leaves. It's a charge, so he's on the bench, and here's a 3 that ends a streak of 7 straight makes for the Fighting Hawks on offense. Bulldogs down by 10. Melson for 3 off the back iron. GU now 2 of 11 from beyond the arc, 18%.
Coming into tonight, 38% on the year. Have really struggled here on their home floor.
Seals drawing a lot of attention, kicks it over to Stewart. Stewart closed out baseline, get it back out. 10 on the shot clock. Seals be defended by Williams. 3 on the shot clock. Left hand contested. Shot goes over J3.
That's good defense. That's just better offense. Williams moved his feet. Did a nice job of challenging that tough shot from Seals. But when you've got it going, you've got it going. And tonight, Seals does. Now 8 of 9 for 16 points. North Dakota is game. Right now has Gonzaga on the ropes plus tie.
We get a second look at it as he falls directly on that tailbone. Whether he's all right or not, Gonzaga's got to find a spark from somebody. Somebody.
Richard, you were taking the way back machine. You kind of having some bad flashbacks of what's happened before on Gonzaga's home floor.
That just reminds me of a game maybe 6 or 7 years ago, Portland State, first game after a tough game as Perkins knocks down the jump shot. You know, no students were here. Portland State was a good team. Had just come off an NCAA tournament appearance, and Gonzaga that night was just flat for 40 minutes, and Portland State played a tremendous game, and this has that same type of feel.
Loudest we've heard the crowd here tonight. With the students away on break, it's up to the big grown-ups to take over. Crandall the feed, loose ball, and Gonzaga creates a turnover. Norvell ahead to Perkins. Three is good, and there's the crowd.
Josh Perkins stepped up these last two possessions. First off the pick and roll, and then that three in transition. Really getting this crowd into it now.
7-point ball game. Gonzaga on the short end of that 7-point differential with 15 minutes and change to play. Oh, and now a foul is called on Perkins. Thought we might have seen a travel. Bulldogs lead by 7 during the 1958-59 season. Your choices: John Stockton, Casey Calvary.
Wow, I don't think
Gary
John's gonna like
Lechman,
that.
Frank Burgess. I think maybe the better question: who was alive then? You can text your answer to 27297. Your answer coming up later in the broadcast. Well, the crowd has answered the call. Now it's Gonzaga's turn to keep them going. Down by 7. Avance handing off to Crandall, who is very quiet in the first half. 3 on the shot clock. 2. Right-hand shot, no go. A big stop for the Bulldogs. And now it's Norvell, the J3, who never really had a handle on that one.
Oh, just poor angles on the post-entry pass there.
It's coming in so hot. Just make the simple play, kick it over to Melson on the wing, and let him deliver the ball inside to Williams.
Here's Stewart now giving up to Seal. Seals with that big 14-point first half. 6 on the shot clock, pulls up from the elbow and no good. So back-to-back stops by the Bulldogs. Here after the timeout, Perkins, no good on the 3. Norvell can't get the loose ball. Hung around there forever, playing pinball in the lane before North Dakota gets it.
And a better effort here in the second half from North Dakota. They haven't given up an offensive rebound up to this point to GU. But if you're North Dakota, you've got to walk that fine line between wanting to use the clock and still staying aggressive.
Here's Rui on the break, lays it in with a finger roll. Showtime is here, and it's a 5-point ball game.
Good finish by Rui that time. Perkins gave it up a little too early. North Dakota player there was able to make a play on it, but Rui with a nice catch and finish.
And some great news as Killian Tilly is ready to re-enter the ball game as a strip goes out of bounds, and they're saying North Dakota basketball as Gonzaga is trying to extend this 7-0 run. And here comes Tilly back in. Boy, everybody just take a sigh of relief. Here's a look. Who did it touch last? There's no question.
Off pretty easy.
Thigh.
Coach Few, as well as the 6,000 people in the McCarthy Athletic Center, didn't like that call.
Seals from the short strides. He was defended by Silas. Stewart off balance shot, another miss. North Dakota has not scored in its last 3.5 minutes. Trying to make it a one-possession game. Tilly fouled and going to the line. Dale Jones picking up his second.
Only the second trip to the free throw line tonight for Gonzaga. First one was by Jonathan Williams. That time, Rui enters it to Tilly, cuts out, gives Tilly plenty of space and time to go to work.
Tilly makes the first 84% from the line this season. And now Stewart subs out. Billy Brown comes back in, the sophomore. Tilly knocks them both down, and it's a one-possession game, down by 3.
Gonzaga now picking up 1-2-2 full court trap.
And Nelson the steal. Gonzaga yet another stop here. Here's Norvell, who's blocked and fouled.
That was a heck of a play by Crandall there.
What a drive, but I looked clean up top at least. I'd love to take another look.
I think
what
it's
a
with the
play.
lower body connected.
Well, let's take a look. Good drive. Can't see it with that camera angle, but that's obviously clean up top.
And Norvell puts Seals in the spin cycle.
That would be a clean block.
Crandall just met him up top and said, I don't think so. A little bit of home cooking, I guess, there for the Zags.
Just a touch, maybe a bit of a makeup call if he out of bounds.
Well, Norvell riding quite the hot streak. First Zag freshman with 20 points or more in 3 straight games since a guy by the name of Elias Harris in 2010. And folks, it's a 1-point game. Crowd getting on its feet here inside the McCarthy Athletic Center. Here's that pressure once again. Crandall gets through it, little no-look pass to get it into the corner. Silas closed out quick, 3-point attempt off the mark.
Pressure's getting in North Dakota now. 1-2-2 doing what you want to. Speed up the offense.
The Bulldogs have the lead. They're up by 1 on the Rui make. 46-45, just over 12 minutes to play, and we've got a timeout. Sometimes it takes the older folks a little while to get warmed up and woken up, folks. 46-45, 12:07 to play. You're watching Gonzaga. And the only one to play against North Dakota the first time they came in the 1950s. All right, hey, the play that puts Gonzaga back in the lead here, guys.
Well, what you're seeing is the maturation and IQ growth of Rui Hachimura. That time gets out in transition, recognizes the smaller Billy Brown on him. Rui holds the seal. Josh Perkins recognizes it, throws it over the top, and Rui doesn't release the seal until it's time to go catch and
that's
finish.
The key. They always tell you, let the ball get right above your head and then release that contact. Good technique there from Rui.
Walter, the Washington native, able to get the inbound after a little bit of help. Was scrambling desperately to find somebody. Inside of 12 minutes, North Dakota trying to end this drought, and it will continue as Rui gets a steal. Here's Perkins breaking down Seals, goes right after him, misses. And Avance is tied up. But Perkins is called for the reach.
Well, you can't compound your mistake. Push it in transition and miss the layup, which, as well as Josh has played throughout the season, he continues to struggle finishing in the paint and at the rim. You can't compound that mistake by then coming up with a foul.
2 wrongs, not making a right for Gonzaga, which is still riding the strength of a 13-0 run. Crandall in trouble, got rid of it. Here's Seals, kick out from 3, the wing shot no good. Out of bounds in Gonzaga basketball.
You know, and you see what this press has done. Not only is it turned over North Dakota a couple times, but more importantly, it's speeding them up.
Yep.
Even once they break the press, they're sped up in their half court, taking shots much earlier in the clock than they were the first 25 minutes, and taking lower percentage, lower quality shots on top of that.
Hawks have now missed on their last 5 shots. Hachimura, no good. The follow, also no good. Tilly cannot get the putback, and North Dakota has it once again. Well, the Fighting Hawks certainly not going away anytime soon. And that ends that drought for Seals, Cortez Seals.
It's got to be either Crandall on the pick and roll or Seals on an extended post catch. Right there, that's a nice job from North Dakota of searching out one of those matchups. Seals has been tremendous tonight.
But it all started because Gonzaga didn't score, so they couldn't get into that 3-quarter court trap.
Crandall picks up the foul, and that's now number 2 on him.
Here, good. First off, good patience. Norvell does a decent job, makes him shoot over a body, over a hand, but Seals tonight has just been too much. Now 9 of 11 for 18 points.
Norvell pulls the trigger on a 3, no good. That North Dakota bucket, by the way, ending a drought of 5 minutes and 31 seconds.
That's some of the growing pains you're going to go through with freshman wings. Kispert Norville that time. Maybe not a great shot, but making up for it on the defensive end with that deflection.
Here's Perkins from the corner. Tilly trying to keep it alive, but Seals comes up with it behind the back at midcourt. Norvell was in his pocket and then defends Crandall and picks up the foul. Tell you what, Norvell, we've seen a little jump in his defensive game here in the second half.
Well, I think he's grown on that end of the floor tremendously since from where he was to start the year, quite frankly, from where he was when he got to Gonzaga. You know, still not a guy you can look at and think he's a stopper, but you know, when you look at what he does within the group, understanding the team concepts, he's there, and then he also competes when he's in a one-on-one situation, so he's done a nice job on that end of the floor.
Jones and Williams back in, Norvell and Hachimura head to the bench. You know, and you ask anybody on the Gonzaga staff, nobody, no coach was at all surprised with Norvell jumping into that role as a shooter, as a scorer. Now they just want the defense to close the gap and follow suit.
Well, the second Zag Norvell stepped on campus, he was a great scorer at the college level. He's just got a knack for putting the ball in the hole.
Here's Melson, the floater in the lane, no good. Williams cannot get the rebound out of bounds, but it's Gonzaga basketball. Last touch by Crandall and the Fighting Hawks. Of course, just an acclaimed high school player was Norvell, playing out of Simeon High School in the Chicago area. And Perkins had some separation thanks to J3 on the screen there, could not capitalize. Over 50% on his three-point shots on the season. High glass, no good. Williams the rebound. And now a nice move by Perkins. No good, loose ball, and Jones comes up with it.
A lot of contact on both ends. First Stewart, then there Perkins. No whistle from the official.
Gonzaga has missed its last 8 from the floor. Down by 3, 9 minutes and change to play. Circus shot goes. The shot of the night belongs to Geno Crandall.
Up and under, threw it around. Crandall with the heck of a finish.
Trying to connect with Williams, who was locked up by Avance, who picks up.
I just want to see another look at his finish.
It's Tilly on skates, and Tilly's a good defender, and that is an impossible finish.
Sam Adams, you were excited about that ice ribbon downtown. Killian Tilly made an early entrance to that.
He was put on skates, wasn't he?
We got a foul away from the ball here. Looks to be on Seals, trying to hold off Jeremy Jones on the cut.
And they're in the bonus. This will be a 1-and-1 situation.
That's a positive sign for Gonzaga, though, to be in the bonus. About 9 minutes left in the game. Didn't take a single free throw in that first half to go along with 11 turnovers. Not a great combination.
Yeah, forget about it. Gonzaga's history, that's just unique anywhere.
Yes.
And not get a free throw attempt in 20 minutes is almost unheard of.
Puts Jones at the line, who is now looking at his 10th attempt on the season. Now 6 of 10 after making those 2. 3-point ball game. Crandall defended by Silas. And now Stewart kicking back out, and he's called for the charge.
Just a little too much. You break the press. If you don't have something easy, pull it out and get into your set, get into your offense. I mean, here, Crandall, nice probe. Stewart's got a good look and just tries to force it a bit.
Well, Stewart, a 26% shooter from three-point land. The team on the season, 26%. Maybe a little gun shy, but when you have an open look, my goodness, you've got to take advantage. Oh, and now a little muscle too much on Jonathan Williams.
Yeah, forgive me, Sam. I just got a great angle of that. It looks like Avon's either got clipped in the mouth or in the throat, but he's obviously in pain right now. And they'll have to take a look at this. Avance all night has done a nice job of holding his ground, and here, right there to the chin, right side of the chin. not intentional on Williams' part, but with the new rules, they're going to take a look and determine whether or not it's a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2 or just simply a common foul.
Just because of the fact that it was above the shoulders,
yeah,
is why they have to take another look.
In our officials this evening, Cook, Shamian, and Schatzman. Here's another look.
You know, and Williams is just trying to get into his move, but with a high elbow, and then Avance is giving up about 3 inches as well. So here, riddle me this, fellas.
Riddle me?
I just don't understand why it takes this long.
I don't either. It should be one look. Okay, let's go.
Because even the one look is better than what you had 20 seconds ago.
Well, here's the thing.
I just don't understand. It's
officials want some love too, right? They do a great job throughout the course of the season, but they don't always get the close-ups on camera that the players do at the free throw line. But they also want to get the call right. I mean, they are some of the best officials on the West Coast.
I will say it's faster than college football.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily make it a positive thing. It's just not as bad as it could be. I mean,
it's the lesser of two evils, I suppose, is what we're saying. But just sucks the life out of the place, too.
Well, and it acts as an extra timeout. You know, I mean, it's just...
Would you believe me, as we say, riddle me this, Gonzaga still does not have a single player in double figures in scoring.
Well, no one's really taken control. Perkins had a stretch there with the layup and the 3 in transition.
Have to get a bucket. We're going to this guy.
Flagrant 1 is the call. Puts Avance on the line. Remember, they'll have the ball after this as well.
So, boys, flagrant 1. Obviously, contact above the head. That's 2 free throws. Williams gets to stay in the game.
So Avance makes the second free throw. There's Jonathan Williams still on the floor, as Richard says, and does remain in the game.
Well, that was the right call by the officials.
Yeah.
Just took him a little longer than you would
flagrant
like.
2 is going to be, you know, the distinction, at least the way that I understand it, has a lot to do with intent. And right there, clearly an inadvertent elbow to the head.
Stewart facing the trap, gets out of it to Crandall. Crandall getting the trap. We go back and forth, and jumping around is Perkins. Perkins lays it up and in, and the foul. Boy, Josh just jumped that pass, and look at the finish.
Well, it's just a lazy pass from Stewart, and just a big-time finish. He has struggled tonight, quite frankly. Josh has stretches where he struggles to finish at the rim, and right there, that's about as tough a finish as he's had all year at the rim.
And that puts now Crandall in foul trouble with 3. Perkins just under 80% on free throws on the season. That miss makes it still a 2-point ball game. I think all of us, when we started talking about the upsets that happened today in college basketball, the top 25s losing to unranked teams, we kind of mentioned it in the same breath of this game. We never thought in a million years that we'd be in that territory 8 minutes to go.
Crandall, another.
Get out of here, man.
Nifty, creative finish. He's now starting to get comfortable and show some of his explosiveness. I mean, he is a under-the-radar NBA prospect.
Tilly had a good look, now dribbling in, loses the ball. They have numbers, 4-on-1, high pass to Stewart, somehow kept it in bounds. And then here's Seals, who backs off.
And a good play here, back it up, get into what you want. You got another mismatch here with a little guarded by big in Williams.
Gonzaga has missed 7 of its last 8, desperately needing a stop here. 5 on the shot clock. The kick out, Jones wide open 3 at the buzzer. Wow. Beats the shot clock, the lead back to 7.
If you're gonna knock off a top 25 team on the road, you've got to have multiple guys step up and make plays. North Dakota has had that tonight with Seals, Jones, and Crandall.
No answer on the other end. But now it's Perkins up top, the 3, back and forth we go from beyond the arc, back to a 4-point ball game.
A tough break there for North Dakota. Seals just trying to tip it out. against the larger man in Williams, and it goes right to Perkins.
We'll take the timeout. Gonzaga climbs within 4, 57-53. Some moves being put on by Crandall. Gonzaga needing some big shots down the stretch, but they need to make some stops on defense. 57-53. Silas Nelson, the senior, trying to avoid one of the biggest upsets here inside the McCarthy Athletic Center. Still 6:39 to play. Perkins with that three before that break we took puts him in double figures. The only Zags so far with 10 or more. Perkins with a team high 12. Stewart is at the line shooting 2 in the double bonus. Stewart shooting at a 72% clip on the season. 104. North Dakota players in double figures tonight now with 12. Very balanced between Seals 18, Jones with 14, Stewart and Crandall, that backcourt with 12 apiece. Tilly left wide open, nobody picks him up. Will not get the bounce. Norvell can't get the rebound.
You know, just to give a little perspective, you know, this is a Gonzaga team that beat Creighton here by 17 and a North Dakota team that lost by 43 the other night. It's amazing in college basketball what, you know, a different night can mean. I mean, right now you would not be able to tell that North Dakota struggled against Creighton given how well they played tonight.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, Richard. It has certainly been a different kind of night. 2 on the shot clock. Crandall for 3. Got it.
You know, and he hasn't really been hunting out his offense, or rather he wasn't the last 4 or 5 minutes. And Dan, you talk about this all the time. Time and score as a point guard. You've got to understand when you need to stop looking to create for your teammates and start looking for yours. He's really done a nice job of that.
Well, you got a bounce by Crandall.
Got to credit Seals there too. He had a wide open look from 3.
But he knows who he is.
Not a good shooter. Passes up an open shot.
It's amazing. I mean,
just knowing your role and knowing your value to your team.
And how many guys struggle with that?
Yeah.
Gonzaga trying to end a 10-3 run. This is a jumper inside the circle from Hachimura. They get it back on the offensive rebound. Norvell probing the defense. A little room to operate. Squeezes through the window for 2.
Great footwork. Avance with nice work on the low block, trying to make it tough on Norvell, but you see the footwork. Tough finish. Much needed bucket here for GU, down 7 with 5 to go.
Norvell just 2 of 8 from the floor. Much needed points there. 5 minutes to play. North Dakota leading here on the road by 7. 5 on the shot clock. Seals defended by Norvell. Contested shot goes.
It's just 1-4 low, 1-4 wide. Going a one-on-one. They find the matchup they like, and then they go to work.
Hachimura no good on the 3. Crandall the rebound.
Well, right now you're seeing a tale of 2 teams. One that knows what they want to do on offense in North Dakota. In the last few possessions, Gonzaga's kind of been scrambled. I don't think a 3 from Rui at this point in time is what they want.
Yeah, and if you're GU, do you think about going to that 2-3 zone? You had some success with it in the first half.
Crandall driving on Hachimura, in and out, no good. Loose ball. Avance fighting for the ball, missing. Hachimura had it, and there's a foul.
Oh, what effort from Avance. You'd love for him just to kick it out, give yourself another possession. Here you see right here, Seals, just no help. Nobody can help. You've got shooters spaced out, and he's done that time and time again tonight. Get to that left hand, and he's able to finish over the body. Just a tremendous performance for Seals tonight. Now 20 points, 10 of 12, all those attempts inside the arc.
Well, you always have to play to your philosophy and your basics defensively, but North Dakota on that possession in particular really spaced the floor.
Yeah.
And Gonzaga stayed connected to shooters, which is kind of odd because North Dakota's shooting at only 26% on the year from 3 coming in.
2 noteworthy items from that free throw. First, the miss by Hachimura, ending a streak of 17 consecutive makes after he'd missed his 2nd free throw of the season. Also of note, 4 fouls now on Crandall.
Yeah, he's gonna go the distance here. The only way he's coming off the floor, Sam, is if he fouls out. But you hope as a junior who's played in some big games, he's going to be able to to pick and choose his spots. It obviously changes the dynamic for North Dakota if he's not out there on the floor.
And they get it into Cortez Seals. Just over 4 to play. Gonzaga down by 8. Silas up in and very close to Crandall defensively right there. Perkins following suit on his defensive stance. Back out, Stewart. A miss on the 3, and Tilly and Jones got tied up on the rebound.
Oh, that 3 attempt there by Jones may come back to haunt them. That was a little quick.
That's just a bad shot.
Silas for 3, no good. Norvell flying in on the offensive board. 15 offensive rebounds, leading to a big 3 by Norvell with 3.5 to play. It's down to a 5-point ball game. We can breathe a little bit, guys.
Senior year, she put together a scrapbook of newspaper clippings, pictures, and such, and hand-delivered it to us in the athletic department. I still have it to this day somewhere in my garage, but happy birthday to her. I hope I'm still going to games when I'm 100.
This game has taken some years off people's lives. I think Tommy, when she came in here, was 30. 64-59, 3:20 to play. Gonzaga cranking up the D. Perkins and Melson. There it is. 3-point game with 3 minutes and 13 seconds to play.
Well, interesting, Crandall had to let Silas Melson go there because he had 4 fouls.
Gonzaga's pressure created another turnover. Perkins keeps it alive. Big sigh of relief here from Gonzaga. Perkins knocks it down, and we're tied with 2:50 to play.
That 3 by Perkins got this crowd up out of their seats, as did it you, Sam.
9-0 run for the Bulldogs. Away by Jones, out of bounds with 8 on the shot clock.
This is where all your preseason practices and working on execution comes into play. Does North Dakota have confidence in their sideline out of bounds plays to get into something good? On the flip side, Gonzaga, guys stepping up, making big plays when big plays are needed.
Gonzaga 9 points in this last minute and 17 seconds. Crandall defended by Melson. What a stop. 2 on the shot clock. Corner 3, no good. And Williams a rebound. Tide turning here inside the kennel. Norvell back out to J3. We're inside of 2 minutes in a tie ball game. J3 with a spin and the finish. Gonzaga has the lead with 1:40 and change. Their first lead since being up 46-45.
Williams having incredible patience that time. A couple minutes ago, got called for a flagrant 1. That time, finish with the patience.
It has to be said, the minutes that Jones has given Gonzaga, they're at the top of that press.
Bulldogs have turned it over 16 times, but they've cranked up the defense. And again, as you mentioned, this look has thrown North Dakota now into fits. A 11-0 run for GU. Crandall drawing a lot of attention behind the back. Avance is blocked by Silas. Norvell takes a step in, rattles it home. Some breathing room, up by 4 with 1:08 to play. Crandall on the other end, an offensive foul. No, excuse me.
Silas Melson got the ball there, Sam. Came up under Crandall on the drive, but what a swing there. You got the behind-the-back pass from Crandall. That's a great set from North Dakota. Avon's just not able to finish. A lot of contact, no whistle, and you come down the other way. Zach Norvell with the tough finish in transition.
Crandall makes the first.
Let's see.
Now Tilly back in.
Well, let's see here if Crandall knocks down this free throw, what kind of wrinkle North Dakota tries to throw at Gonzaga defensively.
Got no IFB, just heads up.
2 big makes there. Back to a 2-point game. Just now a minute to play. You're going to hear a pin drop here inside the kennel. There's a little floater in the lane, no good by Norvell. Loose ball extended by Perkins.
It's the second time we've seen Perkins come up with the long rebound. And here, if you're North Dakota, you don't have to foul. Just be solid. If you get the stop, you might be able to get something in transition.
But you have to rebound.
Yes.
They didn't on that last shot attempt.
20 seconds to play, 5 on the shot clock. Here's Perkins, dribbled it off his knee, looking. Here's Tilly, the give, and a foul. Boy, did they get bailed out there. With 1 on the shot clock, they took every second off the clock, and then they go to the line.
Look, you found the right guy if you're North Dakota. You've got Williams at the line, who struggled to start the year at 54%. And Tilly there, you've got the nice little floater. That's a tough pass. A tight window, but Williams able to get the shot up and knock down the free throw.
As if there was any doubt.
Now it's going to be interesting to see if Coach Few plays the foul game on his end, defensively being up 3, but
13, but what they've lacked in height and offensive rebounds, they've gotten more back. Turnovers early in the first half and finishes. And the three-point shooting hasn't been there, but it's just a scrappy team that hangs around.
Hey, there's a reason, you know, they've lost a lot from last year's NCAA tournament team, but they bring back a big-time guard in Crandall. They've got some really nice pieces around them and some nice Division I transfers. This is going to be a North Dakota team that's going to be a handful in the Big Sky.
Williams misses the second after that timeout.
if there's Gonzaga foul here, do they play it straight up?
Looks like they're going to play straight up here with 7 seconds. Crandall gets Perkins up in the air. 3 on the clock. This to force overtime. Got it with 1.9. Perkins tied up. And we're going overtime.
How about that?
And we said it.
And if not for that 3 just before the horn, it would have been over 6. But extended play here as we get an extra 5 minutes for overtime. Gonzaga wins the opening tip here in overtime. It's the same starting 5 we saw at the beginning of the contest. Nelson throws it up the lob, and the finish by J3.
Nelson hobbling back defensively, a little funny. Don't know if it is his ankle or his knee, but pretty quickly started jumping around a little bit.
And trying to walk it off. Looks like he'll do just that.
Yeah, he's telling the bench it's fine. But nice little 2-man game. Threw it over the top, and credit Williams with the tough catch and finish.
Well, he wants to stop Crandall here, doesn't he? Good defense there by the Bulldogs. Williams came in on the help. Seals, no go on that basket.
And Seals felt that pressure, rushed that shot just enough. He's been knocking down those looks all night.
Norvell pulling the trigger on the 3.
I tell you what, for a freshman, he simply has no conscience. He doesn't care if he misses his first couple. He's going to be who he is, and that's a straight scorer.
I think precocious might be an understatement. Aggressive. So he pulled the trigger on that 3. As he pulled it, you're thinking, what are you doing? And then by the time it goes through the cylinder, you go, oh, yeah, that's all right. 5-point lead for Gonzaga, and now a steal by Perkins. Ahead to Norvell. Norvell will finish with a finger roll. 7-point GU lead.
It's been interesting here to start the second half. No press from Gonzaga as North Dakota is going to take a quick 20.
Well, they're getting points over the game's last 64 seconds. Flashback to the final 5 minutes of regulation. North Dakota was up by 9 with 4:49 to play. Gonzaga was on the ropes. They came out with a lot of jabs, and then the haymaker, 13-0 run. And here we are in overtime. And now a steal by Williams. Williams with the Euro step, no good. Out of bounds, that'll go to Gonzaga.
Jonathan Williams trying to create contact to get Crandall his 5th foul of the game, but lost his balance on the Euro step. Couldn't quite finish. Not quite the look that he wanted.
So Silas Williams now for Gonzaga with just over 3 minutes to play. Perkins being defended by Crandall. 7 on the shot clock. Perkins has some room and he uses the right hand for the finish. Good court awareness there by Josh Perkins. Kick out, Jones up top 3, in and out, no good.
Not a bad look if you're North Dakota. You do a nice job defending Gonzaga deep into the clock, and then Perkins just makes a nice play on that dribble penetration with the tough finish off the glass.
Some questions perhaps. North Dakota running out of steam. They haven't gone to the bench much. They're 6 man, so to speak. 10 minutes from Walters, that's been it.
Well, it's that attrition. You're trying to block out, defend a bigger team. Gonzaga has more depth. Gonzaga for a large stretch there in the second half was pressing North Dakota. So I think that's a fair point to make, Sam, that is North Dakota here in this overtime period running out a little bit of gas, a little bit of energy.
GU shooting 73% on the season from the charity stripe. And Tilly 1 point away from joining that double-digit club with Williams, Perkins, and Norvell, and he does just that. Final 2 minutes here in overtime. Oh my goodness, just when you're ready to count them out, Crandall comes up with a big 3. That ends a 25-5 run.
Ball needs to be in his hands on every possession.
Perkins dribbling it out. 10 on the shot clock, 1:40 to play in overtime. Tilly gets it into the corner. Silas tries to get it back to him. J3 with 1 on the shot clock. That'll be a shot clock violation. Did not hit the rim. So North Dakota just hanging and hanging around. Crandall's still playing with those 4 fouls. I don't think this is the way Mark Few was imagining this day would end up.
No, but a lot of times coming off of finals, guys have been focused in on finishing the semester strong as opposed to being in the gym with their normal routines, and obviously it seemed to have thrown guys off for a good portion of this game.
There was one member of the Fighting Hawks team last night after their late night workout, was wrapping up practice, wanted to know what time it was. Then by the time he figured out the time difference, he had about an hour to write a paper for his final exam to get back to Fargo. Seals with the left hand.
Nice, quick attack, get a quick bucket early in your clock. Just 2 possessions here for North Dakota. You just got to get the stop at your point in the second half, Dan. They've got to come up with the rebound if they force the miss.
One minute, here we go. Perkins. What a move and a finish from Josh Perkins.
2 big finishes down the stretch for Josh Perkins.
3 from Stewart. Back to a single-digit game now. I should say a 5-point ball game. 40 seconds. And there's the foul. So we'll have 2 free throws here from Silas. Nelson, a 90% free throw shooter. He was 70% from the line as a sophomore. And now it's time to announce tonight's player of the game. Presented by A to Z Rental. And done a lot tonight, huh? Josh Perkins with a flair for the dramatic. He's come up with some clutch shots down the stretch. Folks, no job is too big or too small. With 8 convenient locations, we rent everything. Let A to Z Rental be your most valuable player, Josh Perkins. Final 30 seconds in a 7-point contest here in overtime. And we've got a foul.
Late whistle, but it looked like there was some contact on the way up.
Coach Few wasn't happy after the last defensive possession. I was watching him interact with Perkins and Williams and say, why give an open look from 3? And this time, he's not happy about fouling a jump shooter 15 feet from the bucket.
Yeah, that's the right call.
It is.
Perkins line, 19 points, 7 assists, 5 steals, and 4 rebounds. As Jones heads to the bench. Seals just 60% from the line this season. And a big make there. We'll get Trey Buchanan, the freshman from East Moline, Illinois, on the floor. Buchanan, just a 25% three-point shooter on the season. They bring him in for the fouls for the defense.
Zach Norvell crafty on that possession. Understanding, keep the ball in the best free throw shooter's hands. You be the guy that gets fouled and go to the free throw line.
Norvell going into this one, in his last 4 games, 55% from the floor, 13 of 15 from the line, 12 threes. The list goes on and on. First Zag to record 20 points in his first 2 starts in collegiate basketball since Josh Heupel.
He's got a chance to possibly hit the 20 mark again tonight. He's got 18, makes this one goes 19, and you never know if North Dakota extends out the free throw game in any way.
And it didn't look that way, Dan, in the first half.
No, but that's, you got to love his response. He struggled early against University of Washington the other night and stuck with it and made some big plays in the second half. He did the exact same here tonight.
And he did the same thing against Creighton.
Yeah.
The best players are all about the next play. They're not dwelling on what just happened. He's the definition of that. He could care less that he's 1 of 6 in the first half. He's going to continue to be aggressive in a second.
Crandall with a quick trigger on the 3, knocks it down.
But if you're going to switch. You can't give their best shooter, best player, an open look from 3.
It's a breakdown defensively. And you've got Silas and Josh talking it through. That's your senior backcourt.
It's the same action that they've used over overtime in the last few minutes of regulation. Pistol action, you throw it ahead, you go back and try to get a little flip back pass. That time was slightly different angle, but you got to be connected and know, are you switching or are you staying at home?
Nelson makes the first. Silas had come into this contest making a 3 in a personal best 13 straight games. He's 0 for 2 from 3-point range tonight, so that streak in jeopardy, but he couldn't care less with these free throws, helping putting the finishing touches perhaps on this one. Stewart gets it to Crandall, well defended this time, and the glove was all over him there. An air ball by the leading scorer for North Dakota on the season, Crandall. And he's at 26 points to lead all scorers tonight. And he's been playing for much of this game with 4 personal fouls. It'll be Perkins' turn now around the carousel at the free throw line.
Well, if you're Mark Few and his staff, you're not pleased with a lot of tonight, but you have to be pleased with the response there with less than 5 minutes in the second half and down by 9, Sam, or something to that effect. Just a big time response, you find a way to get the tough win at home. But if you're North Dakota, you've got to feel pretty good about what you have as you head into Big Sky next week. This is a team that was picked to finish 5th in the league after winning it last year. I think that number might be a little low.
That was the first miss in overtime for Gonzaga at the line. Perkins. Gonzaga now is a team 9 for 10 here in these extra 5 minutes. Crandall with an easy flush with 6.6. And that will do it. Well, so that happened. What a finish we saw tonight from Gonzaga. You expect a test like this in the non-conference season. They